HighLevel just released some crazy updates. One of them is critically important for anybody that is texting. Please, you got to make sure you watch this update because this is the one that's going to save you from getting into quite a bit of trouble if you don't follow the new rules when it comes to texting inside of Texas. Now, on top of that, we have all kinds of crazy updates regarding new integrations and cool new features that are starting to roll up in getting ready for level up. So stay tuned and build along with us. All right, for some of you that might know, Texas has actually started a new rule that requires you to not only have an surety bond, but also being very careful in the way that you text message inside of Texas. One, making sure that you have complete permission. Two, it's also making sure that you're setting it between the hours that you're allowed. And three, you actually need a surety bond of $10,000, and they actually make you sign up with your bank accounts when you do get it. So it is quite intense. And for all of us that are just trying to avoid Texas altogether, HighLevel's come around and they gave us a couple of new tools that are going to help us avoid getting us in trouble. So first things first, when you jump on in to your left-hand side menu, and you're going to come in and you're going to go over to your main agency side, and you're going to go over to settings. Inside of settings, what you want to do is you want to scroll all the way down. You want to go to labs, and in labs, you want to go over some of the new ones that are out there. Now, as always, the beta program has a ton that are going to be able to be turned on and everything else. But what you want to do is actually go all the way back up and go to the sub account level. And in the sub account level, you're going to scroll down and you're going to see one that is right about here. Quiet hours check before outbound call. This is one you're definitely going to want to turn on for anybody that's starting to do the outbound call and get it ready for outbound call. Some of us have been inside the actual beta model. This is something you definitely want to be really careful with because it avoids calling people outside the hours, which can get you also in trouble. So when you come over here in the labs area, what you're going to do is go over to the right-hand side. You're going to hit manage, and pretty much you're going to enable it for all accounts, select all. And then right from here, you're going to go ahead and hit save. Once you hit save, the feature's ready to go. And then you're going to also see some other ones that we're going to do to help you avoid, again, doing text messages inside of Texas, which again is going to get you into trouble if you don't know what you're doing. But that's the first part. One, go in there. The second one that you also want to do is for anybody that's really struggling with A2P and text messaging, come in here and go ahead and on the Improved Trust Center A2P experience, go over to the right-hand side, hit manage again. Let's go ahead and turn all that on for all accounts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit save. And then once we hit save, that'll also be enabled. Now, the next thing we're going to do is go to an actual sub account, and we're going to see some other features that you want to turn on to, again, get you prepared to protect you against Texas. And again, want to make sure that this is to help you. It's not really going to make sure that if somebody's living in Texas and they have like a New York number, you might get a little bit of a challenge on that. So always remember that Texas right now is just a really like careful place that you got to message in. And if anything, reactive messages from my understanding are okay, but you got to kind of like check the laws yourself. But I'm going to do everything that I can to avoid ever going in there. That's just me personally. I'm using email for most of my communications going into Texas, but I'm turning all these things on to help protect as much as I humanly can to anybody living in Texas, so then I don't get fined or have anything held against me if that something goes wrong and I end up texting somebody inside of Texas. Hey, we want to interrupt this video for a quick little minute to just let you know that I hope you're enjoying this video. We want to thank you for being here, but more importantly, we are hoping that this content helps you do whatever you're trying to do inside of HighLevel. We also want to let you know that you have options to get additional help. We offer a $197 a month VIP coaching program that includes 4 days of office hours, first come, first serve with Andy or myself, where we go in and we answer any of your questions that you might have live with a group setting for other people that are also working in HighLevel. We also have a VIP group where we answer questions directly one-on-one with anybody posting in that group to give you the absolute best support. It also comes with a bunch of other features, including our funnel brick system, our little mini course, and more importantly, a couple guides that'll help you through this, and also including our SOP library that we use for pretty much everything inside of our agency. So thank you for this quick little minute, but more importantly, go back to the video, get whatever you need, and if you have any questions that we can answer inside the video, just drop a comment on the video and we'll make sure to answer whenever we get a chance. And now back to the show. All right, so the next part is you're going to go over to the left-hand side in an actual sub account, and you're going to have to turn this on for each sub account, right? So you're going to go over to the left-hand side, you're going to go to settings. Inside of settings, you're going to go to your phone numbers, which is right here in settings. Then after in settings, you're going to go over to where it says additional settings. In additional settings, you're now going to notice there's quite a bit here, but you're going to go to SMS compliance. And you're going to come over here block any SMS to Texas recipients or from Texas area code number. When enable, bulk messages to text message numbers or from Texas area codes will be blocked per regional rules. One-on-one conversations messages will go out, meaning if you're already customers of yours and you're doing one-on-one direct and it's not automated, that is allowed as long as they were previous customers and you have their permission. You should be good to go. Again, this is going by what HighLevel's saying, so please, again, just check your rules and laws just to make sure everything's good. But you're going to click this on, which like I am right now. And once it's on, I'm going to go ahead and block it. And remember, we just enabled the curfew hours. If you also want to enable that and make sure that's all good, you're going to go again back to phone numbers. You can actually come in here and we can go into our voice calls. This is again for inbound and outbound calling as you're going through. On the outbound calling, again, it's activated for some of us. You're just also going to remember that you want to abide by certain rules, which again, receive timely warning when you're about to call people after 9 p.m. and before 9 p.m. in local time zone to avoid you doing anything that you shouldn't be doing in there. And again, this is new settings that are going to come along when you get outbound calling and everything else. But again, these are to help you avoid getting fined. Make sure you read through the rules and have a full understanding. Again, I'm not a legal lawyer. I don't even want to get into that topic, but these are the things that I'm doing to personally avoid making any mistakes directly in there. But I want to make sure you have understanding of where it is. So first, go ahead and enable the new A2P, like kind of look and feel in the UI. Second, make sure that you're doing this for outbound calling and enabled. Remember, you have to set it in the labs, then come back and set it in your phone settings. And third, please make sure if you are not text messaging, you haven't taken out a surety bond and you don't want to risk anything, come in here into phone numbers, then an SMS compliance, and come all the way in here and just make sure at the bottom of this that you check that and block any kind of text message, automated text message going out to any of these numbers. All right, so that being said, let's move on to the next category, which is integrations. My God, have we gotten a crap ton of integrations that are now going to be native inside the software. Now, to be very clear, this is not going to be cheaper than using NAN, Make, or Zapier because you're using bulk. But honestly, for the people that are doing like once in a while, like kind of situations, or that have the pro plan, meaning which allows them unlimited uses of these particular, like the premium, like actions is what they're called, then this will be worth your while because then it's going to be pretty cheap. But again, the fact that they have it here and maybe you're doing these integrations for a once in a while thing, it'll cost you a cent, but it is pretty favorable that the fact that they're now starting to develop this. And remember, you can always upgrade to the pro plan of allowing unlimited, premium actions inside the software. That's going to make it a little bit better. But let's go over some of the cool integrations that have now come online. If you go to any of your automations, right, we're going to go to automations right here. And I come into here, let's just go to our new lead automations and I come in here. Now, make believe that a new lead comes in and I want to connect to like ClickUp, Notion, or Airtable. These are now 3 of the most popular project management, contact management software. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to now start seeing a lot of the internal integrations that are allowed. Now, I got to be honest, if you don't want to go through and pay for Zapier or Make and figure all that out, you'll be able to immediately connect these. And I'm going to show you how to do it in a second. So you have Airtable, you have Google Contacts, so you can start adding these into your contact group. You can also create a contact group, which is going to be great because then you can email an entire contact group versus, like one individual person. So this is going to be a great add in there. You can find contacts, update contacts, and add people into contact groups, which is pretty amazing. You also have now Notion. So you have the ability of adding things to Notion, which I know a lot of people are fans of. My personal favorite here is ClickUp. We do a lot of project management work. And honestly, it's pretty cool when all of a sudden we can create a new document, a new page, edit a document or page, add a new task, find tasks, create lists, all the folders and everything else that you're going to have readily available. And I got to be honest, it is pretty cool. The other thing that I want to make sure all of you guys are doing that are getting ready for level up, if you go in here and you start looking, right before we get in, you're going to start noticing a lot of different things starting to come in. Like you're now starting to see a lot of AI actions, AI capture information, book appointment and conversation, AI splitter, AI message. These are all different ones that we're going to have, which I think is going to be pretty cool. So that's coming. And then we have like regular hybrid assists, but pretty cool integrations, all readily available. And the way you connect them is actually pretty easy. If you come all the way to the left-hand side and you go to your settings, inside of settings, you go to integrations, and into integrations, you're now going to notice that you have a couple of new ones. You have always Slack, like we've always had, SipStation, Shipio, but look all the way down here. You now have Google Contacts, Notion, and ClickUp to make it a whole lot easier along with Airtable. These 4 powerful integrations are going to allow you to do a lot of things. Now, again, cost-wise, you're still going to get better pricing if you do bulk or NAN or anything else like that, because you're just paying for a direct, you're not paying for anything actually if you're doing a self-hosting in some of these, but you pay one flat price. If you get the Pro plan and you're using all of these, then it makes worthwhile as long as you're even using other premium actions that are available. But integration's completely awesome. The fact that they have this is probably one of the best updates, and I'm assuming this is going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to have direct integrations with all these tools, and I guarantee there's more coming, and I guarantee even level up when we all attend the event, they're going to even have even more. Now, the next update is for all the data nerds that are out there. It's analytics. We finally got or getting a better version of what we had before. You now can click on analytics and you can check where all your page views and sales and everything else is coming in, opt-in conversions, what browsers and everything else, and it's all coming in for free on your funnels, on a specific funnel. And again, this is all based on analytics coming directly in here, client IPs, everything. Look at this. This is pretty intense. You have different countries that, you're being basically serviced. Look at this. All these different visitors that are coming in. You could see how many you're trying to capture, your actual traffic, your source medium, everything that's coming in. And this is just the beginning. And again, you could do it on your funnels. You can do it on your websites. You can even do it on your QR codes, which I thought was pretty cool. How cool is that? I can see all the analytics based on the QR codes, the webinars, the forms, everything that I have and things that people are filling out. But I thought it was such a cool update. It's already fully integrated. It accounts for all of them. And then you could see everything that's coming in here. This is just as good, if not. And it tells you which one people are viewing the most. So you can see a list of all your funnels and you can see the separation based on that and all the ones that are being used. Thought it was pretty cool. But again, this is pretty awesome in the sense of like where everything is existing. But again, incredibly big update, but it's something that a lot of us have been asking for. And from my conversations from all the devs, this is obviously a work in progress and it's definitely coming along and it's going to be pretty outstanding as we go through. All right. And the next update is going to be in the builder. We got some really cool updates that are coming through. And again, I guarantee you that there's going to be a lot more updates kind of sneaking on in as we go through. If we go to funnels, inside of funnels, I'm just going to go to any of these funnel tests in here. One is for anybody that's using QR codes. I use QR codes religiously in kind of like any kind of presentations or anything like that. But most importantly, I put them on websites for people to click or for people to go to and just have a little bit more of an interactive play. If you come in here before, what we would have to do is we would literally have to go to the QR code builder, build a QR code, save the image, bring it back in here. It was an enormous pain in the butt. Now, if you go over to the left-hand side, there are some new cool things in here. If you scroll up, you now have a lot of different ones in here. Most importantly, you're going to come all the way down here and look at this. You have a number counter, you have a QR code, you have a pricing table. These are all new events that are here. So if you drag that over, if you have a QR code, you could select one of the codes that you have and boom, there you go. You can design around it. You can edit it right here. So instead of you having to now go back out, you can directly edit it in here, give it height, width, and all that other stuff will make it a whole lot easier. But again, they're not done. If you go over to the left-hand side, you come over here to the pricing table, you can now drive over the pricing table. And for anybody running any kind of pricing table, you can even customize each of these columns to then go here from like you have your basic, your pro. These are going to be like the top 3 and how many ones you want. You can add a column. But then if you go all the way down to the bottom, you can come in here and add a feature. So your basic is in here in the columns feature. And then you can have call to action buttons, fixed pricing. You can have subscription, price form, all these really cool things that happen, which I thought was really, really cool. You can even adjust the price all in here. Play around with this. Super cool feature. You also have now the number counter. So if you want to create a number, you can create a number counter and then you can dynamically connect it, which I thought was really cool. Again, pretty neat feature. You have different styles that you can do it, color change, all that other stuff, which I thought was pretty darn cool. And then if you go on, again, if you scroll up and down, just be on the lookout because now even testimonials, you have a testimonial section that you can pull in and build, which I thought was pretty cool because now you can make it super customized, put in names. Look at that. You got the counter, you got all this. Really cool features that they've been trying to add. And along with the logo showcase, these are all really neat ones that you have. Forms and surveys. You can either create a new form directly in here or add an existing form. And they already have, look at this, pre-made forms that you can leverage and use to make it super easy as you go through based on the ones you created and also the ones you have. Now, your forms and surveys will be here. You can create existing or create a new survey or add from one of the existings. Just makes an overall feel. Now, the saved asset ones, this is really, really cool. You have universal sections and now you can use pretty much everywhere where you want. So make believe you have a footer that you're never going to change, whether you're creating a website or a funnel, you're going to be able to do this now. And then element templates, you can create templates. Let's say you want to create this testimonial in a certain way and you want to bring it over into other parts of your funnels and everything else, so you don't have to recreate everything. You now can create the element template, bring it on over, save it, and then you'll be able to do it. So if you come in here and you hit the now save button, you could save this as one of your templated elements and just call it testimonials, QR code for this, QR code for that. And it makes it super easy for you to like develop things on the fly, which I thought was really, really, really cool. So obviously this is a growing and expanding area, something to keep an eye on. And remember, as always, the pre-built sections are all the cool pre-built sections we have, and they loaded tons, and I mean tons of brand new templates. So for anybody that's been sleeping on the templates, you're kind of missing out, because if you go over here and you go over to sites, and let's just kind of create a new funnel, right? If I go to new funnel and I go to templates, I can guarantee you that you have not seen all the templates that are out there. They keep adding more and more and more. I think we're close to like probably thousands at this point, not only in templates here. You can also now, if you're an agency owner, upload your own templates to the actual template library, and then people can download your templates on top of the thousands that are existing. And I gotta be honest, they look incredibly good. Some of these templates are templates that honestly I just been using because it's kind of been pointless to try to design anything else just because of how good the templates are. So again, you got spas, you got webinars, you got all kinds of things, video, like front, like these are really decent templates. So don't sleep on this. And again, it becomes an incredible advantage for anybody that's selling this as a white label, because yeah, you can put your ones in and your automations and all that. But honestly, the templates here are just becoming really, really good that you can leverage and use. And they're very marketing focused. So it just makes it even easier when you're going through. All right. The next one is going to be over in memberships. Memberships is another area that is growing substantially. And I covered this a little bit before, but there are some cool things on communities that I want to go over. There's a brand new feature. I'm just going to go ahead and log in right now. And again, you have to be basically owner and also an admin to see this. But when we go into the communities, I'm going to show you a new feature that is called newsletters. So if you come in here and you go to settings, and by the way, if you haven't noticed settings, there's a lot of really cool things in here that you might have slept on a little bit. But one, you have subscriptions, you can add a price. But look at this, you now have a newsletter frequency that goes out to all the members based on the popular posts, member activity, and events inside the group. You also have branding, you have the themes, the memberships, everything that's already existing, and even your gamification on level 1s and 2s and everything else. And you have links that you can add, any kind of reported content that comes from anywhere. And you can import and export your Skool communities for anybody that's been out there, which I thought was really cool. And you can also discover new ones as far as collab. When anybody wants to go collab and check out different groups, you have the ability of doing that. Inside the same membership area and not in communities, there is a really cool new feature that's been there. It's kind of been existing, but now there are certificates and badges you can add. Now, I covered this update very lightly, but honestly, they just threw a whole new kind of look and feel. So you can create one from scratch, or you can select from a template. They've added new templates, and now you're able to control and build certificates directly in here. So watch how cool this is if you build from scratch. And I'm just going to say test template. And this is actually a new one that we're actually very excited to use, because this is going to be something that we're going to be building for our 30-day challenge that we're about to release. And then you're going to come over here. And again, it's just super easy. You just come and build in elements, move in frames. So you can move in some text messaging, like add your heading in here, expand it, make it nice, do whatever you want. It's got a lot of flexibility on what you can do, centering it, making it super easy. You can create frames if you want to put it around a frame, images, signatures, if you want to sign it, background, resize, do whatever you want. And like, see, I can make this, change the orientation, move this over here, create some elements like, a nice little thing over here. Obviously not a designer right now, but you guys get the point, right? So on top of that, you can also build badges for people that are inside your group, or if you just want to issue badges to anybody in anything pretty much, and you can create a badge. And again, you got templates going on in here, which I thought was super exciting. And they're adding a lot more to this. And again, you can design your own badges, make it really, really cool. I just thought it was super cool. And the fact that they featured it was absolutely amazing, but super cool feature. Hoping you guys are going to use this, because nothing rewards people better than feeling recognized and getting a certificate. It makes people feel good. And honestly, it's a great retention play. Now, the other thing that is happening that you want to make sure you do is go to automations. And this is more for like the tech guys out there, or the tech gals that like a little bit more like playing around with the if-then statements and creating some complex, just general deliverables. If we're going to come over here, and I'll show you some automations. So I'll come in here, and if they come in, I will show you something. You now have a lot more flexibility in the if else, because the if else now you can select a lot more details, custom values. you can select contact details, workflow triggers, contacts. But if you go into contacts, any kind of field that I have in here that I wanted to use as a qualifier, like I'll just pick this one right here. Notice that there's a lot more in here, if any of, separated, if none as. So they're adding more and more that you can do in here. And then what's crazy is you can look at all the choices you have now. You have client portal, contact, phone number, voice AI stuff is in here now. Other custom values, messages, calendars, appointment settings. And each one of them has all these different things in here to make it really, really like robust in what you can do when it comes to the if else statements, which I think is going to be a pretty significant upgrade in everything that we have. And again, I would watch right here, because what they're going to do is, and when it comes to actions, you're going to be able to see all the new Easter eggs that are going to probably be dropping the next few weeks. As we go in, there'll be a couple things in here that will allow, like obviously, look, we have all the WhatsApp features now that a lot of people haven't covered. This has been a big one for me, appointment booking and the update conversation status. I've been showing that a lot. And again, look at all the other features you have, custom code, which you can build custom code directly in here. And you can even have an AI help you write the custom code. So if you wanted to take like information that was being passed in from like, let's say a webhook or anything else, you can have custom code that will automatically format it and do all kinds of stuff. Look at this, AI translate content, AI summarize, intent detection, workflow AI decision maker. So this will turn into where it'll decide whether or not, and it'll develop different branches based on what you're doing. This is a little bit of an Easter egg. Nobody's really shown any of that. But how cool is that? If an engagement score, you can do whether or not you want to send them to, like, let's say you send out a newsletter or you're doing a nurturing sequence and they get to the third email and low engagement, we want them going in one direction, medium engagement, we want to go to another, and then one at the other end. It's all here. So that's going to be a lot of fun to play with. We'll build some automations based on that. And then again, if you keep scrolling down, they're sneaking some in here. You got to kind of stay up on the opportunities here, but look at everything that is in here, because they are going to sneak some new ones in here like we just saw. And again, we all saw these, but there's going to be some really, really cool things that are going to come about as we go through. So that being said, we're going to go over one more update. All right. And the last update is going to be under invoices. A lot of us have been asking about this because this has been a major pain in the butt. But if you come in here under invoices and estimates, if you go under settings, inside of settings, we now have title, terms, and layouts of the way we want the invoice to look, and we can customize it finally and make it more adaptable to what we want it to be. So hoping this is going to be a big one for a lot of people out there, because it just has a bunch of cool now features. And again, we can always update. We were having a terrible time like making it the way we wanted to and everything else. And now we have the ability of making this really, really nice. That's it. A lot of updates coming. There's going to be even more for Level Up. So stay tuned for that. That whole week, we're going to have intense amounts of little Easter eggs that are going to be everywhere. But this is super cool. I hope these were good updates for you, and we'll see you in the next one.